Hello everyone, good evening. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm not sure if the stream is working. Yeah, it is. Okay. Too many problems. Too many problems. So tonight we will be doing HackTheBox Heal, which is a Linux medium box, I believe. Let me just check. Yes, it is Linux and it is a medium box. So let's get started. But before we get into it, I've decided I'm gonna be doing the 24-hour stream on the 31st. I will be starting at 8 p.m. GMT. That basically gives me about 2-3 hours between when I finish work and when I'm starting the stream. It is going to be a 24-hour continuous stream. No breaks for sleep or anything of that sort. I will be grabbing food here and there, but other than that, I'll be streaming straight for 24 hours. So, with that being said, let's get started with today's machine, shall we? And sorry about the fake stream earlier. My box decided to crap out on me. Machine stream, and I actually had to revert to an earlier version, but that was about 4 or 5 months ago, so I've lost a lot of local scripts that I had. In any case, we're back online and we can recreate whatever scripts and whatever software we had on the machine. That's why it's a VM. Create target, heal. I'm not even sure if my init scan is set up, but let's see. So that would be, is my copy paste working now? Yes, it is. Yeah, that's wrong. Anyway, so running an initial port scan. Again, taking notes as we go. We do have a named host, and we have port 80 and 22 for SSH. I'm not starting Pebbles range tonight. I've started the stream very late today. It's already almost 11 p.m. my time, so I'm doing a easier box. I will be starting Pebbles range tomorrow. That's the plan. So I'll start streaming about call it 3 hours earlier than today, and I'll be doing his range. So hopefully it should be a good one. Right, so as I said, we have a named host. Let's add that to our host file. I might have to clear out my host file because it's old now. Oh yes. Give me a second. Right. I don't want anything to... Oh yeah, this is very old. Oh, that can go. And then we have the IP address here. So we have port 80 and SSH. So let's do directory brute force. Actually, no, because it's a named host. I'm gonna start with the subdomain enumeration. So user share word list, sec list, discovery, DNS. And that would be heal.html. I don't know what I need to filter out just yet, so give me a second. Thank you. Not sure if you've done it or not, but yeah, be sure to check in the stream tomorrow. We'll definitely start that range. Okay, so we need to filter out 8 lines. And we have API. Okay, so we've already discovered API, which is cool. Gives us another path forward. So let's start burp, add the IP address to target, and see what's on the website. Actually, we need to add API dot. Hey Booney, how are you? So, burp. Okay. Test, sign in, invalid. Let's sign up. Okay, so we've created a profile. Oh, we have an export as PDF here. So we have PDF generation functionality, which seems to introduce HTML as well. Okay. And we have survey. And we have a new subdomain. we need to add that one to our host file as well. There we go. It's gonna take a while for Burp to update that. In the meantime, we can have a look at what was captured for register, for so sign in, test, returns empty. Sign up, returns a token, but that is a very small JWT. Okay. Profile. It's a GET request, so it's based on the session. No, it's based on the JWT. Actually, let's send that to repeater. I want to test something. None. Apply change. User ID 1. Yeah, invalid token because it has the basically it's not properly encoded. No, it's not properly padded. Okay, well, let's have a look. So it takes an HTML and it gives us the file name. So we have a root that takes in a file parameter. Normally, when you see something like this, you will test for local file inclusion. That's the first thing that you look for. Right, so did we send that to repeater? Yes, we did. Let's double check that it still works. Oh, file not found. It means there's a cleanup function that will remove that, but what we can do is test etc password. There we go. As I said, one of the first things that you want to check for if you see a file name in the URL is local file inclusion. Now, what I don't know is what type of application this is or anything of that sort. So let's have a look, because we haven't actually profiled the application at all. So we know it's Nginx. So what we can do, etc Nginx sites enabled default. File not found. nginx.conf. There we go. So, yeah, it's we don't know the name of the file, so we're just guessing at this stage. Sites enabled heal. HTTP. Conf. Nope. So we don't actually have a file name there. If we go back to Etsy password, what usernames do we have? So we have Ron and Ralph. Both have bash as a login session. We know it's, oh, there's Postgres, which means there's a database behind the website. Okay, let's take a screenshot of that. Okay. Has burp updated? So we can have a look at the survey as well. Maybe we find some information. Okay. There's an index.php, but we don't know the location of it. That's the problem. Oh, LimeSurvey. And we have Ralph is apparently the administrator of LimeSurvey. Okay, I don't know much about LimeSurvey, so is there a GitHub for it? Yes, there is. So it is PHP. Okay, it requires PHP greater than 8.1. And I'm assuming this is the database used for it. At this point, I'm just making assumptions based on what I've seen in Etsy password. And that's just contributors. Okay, we have the structure of the application, but we don't know where it's hosted. So that's the survey. Anything on API? Oh. So the API is basically a Rails app. They've done a amalgamation of a lot of different technologies here, apparently. Okay. Anything interesting? User share word list, sec lists, discovery, web content, API, heal.htb. Apparently, no, nothing there. How about on take survey? Anything we can use? Okay, so we have an admin, but we don't have credentials. Let's check it anyway. Oh, and I'm getting blocked because I'm doing too many requests. Admin. Nah, would have been way too easy, wouldn't it? So we have up to now, we have a local file inclusion. We have admin on LimeSurvey. LimeSurvey default credentials. No, so it doesn't have default credentials. They're being set up when you install the application. Okay, that's not useful. Well, there is a way where we can get some more information. So that would be proc self environment or not. CMD line. Thank you for the follow, Nico Address. I did not know that. CMD. File not found. Okay. What else do we have in proc? Proc self. So we've tried environment and it's empty. I'm trying to find a way basically to look at where the software is running so we can read some of the files. But the idea is this is Rails that's hosting the PDF, isn't it? Yeah, it is, because it's over API. Ruby on Rails default app structure. I've never used Ruby on Rails, so I know nothing about it. Wait, what version is this for? Because we're running on 7.1. 7.1. Do you know when the gets function was removed? That's not useful. Actually, Docker Ruby on Rails 7.1. If we can get the Docker container running with a default app, I don't need anything in there. I just want the default app so I get the folder structure. That's not useful. So what Ruby are we on? 3.3.5. Why is that 2.3.3? There's a gem file. And the rake file. Okay, let's see if we can get at least some of those files. Gem file. Rake file. Not there. There we go. We found the rake file. So in theory, the PDF is generated 2 levels above the root of the application. That's what that tells us. Gem file. Yes. So we have a gem file and we have a rake file. However, what else do we have in there that we can read? That's not useful because that's in features. Oh, let's go back to Ruby on Rails default application. Oh, come on, where is it? There we go. I'm interested in config application.ruby. Let's see. Bingo. So we have a configuration file. That contains absolutely nothing useful. Resume API, class application, Rails application. Okay. Boot. Is that is there a .env file? Nope. Okay, so we're only loading API for this application, but is there a database? That was configuring a database. Okay. Database YAML. There we go. So we don't have any credentials in here, but however, we do have a development SQLite database. Let's put that into our notes. So storage development SQLite 3. Can we download that? Yes, we can. Luckily for us, you can read it in text, and there is a hash in here. Okay, so that's a hash that we need to crack. So that's for Ralph. I'm assuming it's up to 2024. So let's copy that, put it into a file in here. Hash. And we can do loot A0. Ralph hash. Come on. Okay. Let's see if that will crack. In the meantime, we can keep on looking. We have the hash there. Is there anything else in that file? Doesn't look like it. The question is, where is our user? Because we do have a user there, don't we? Is it in test? Nope. That's weird. So we get the Let's just, okay. It did crack. So I went with the 3200 mode because that's the standard for when you use hashing functions in programming. In PHP, I'm assuming Ruby, Python, they will default to bcrypt. That's why I went with bcrypt there. Now, we do have a password. We don't know what it works for. So let's save it. Creds, Ralph, and password. Let's try it. We did have an admin panel. Ralph and password. There we go. So I forgot to finish my notes. I need to take a screenshot. There we go. So we have access to the survey. I've tested the Ralph user here because if we log out, we go to the home page. Please contact administrator Ralph at, and the database that we extracted, the user that was in the other database, it was Ralph. That's why I went straight to Ralph, not to admin. What? Okay. 664. Okay. Manage administrator. What functionality do we have in here? Thank you for the follow, the walking archive. Welcome to the stream. No, I don't want to delete any data. What script is this executing here? Okay, is it JavaScript? Well, I made it fail. And apparently it's JavaScript, which does not help us in any way. Great. What else? We have backup database, which we don't need because there are... Yeah. So it's actually using Postgres, as I said before. Preview question? Yeah, no, it fails. Plugins? Ah, upload and install. You know what that means. We're gonna have to create a LimeSurvey plugin. Right? Do we have a download? No, we do not. Okay. Back to Google. Plugins. Demo. Exactly what we need. So we need a config file. There we go. So we need to create a config XML, exploits, new folder, plugin test, new file. Oh. Hopefully you can see that. And then we will need a PHP file. There we go. That's gonna be Psycho plugin. I don't care about the date. Let's change that. Make it fun. There we go. Now, for the PHP file, that needs to be named Psycho, I assume. I don't care about that. There we go. We have an init. Subscribe. New service settings. We can leave that there, but let's try it this way. If is set request cmd pre-format tags, and then print our system request cmd. There we go. Basically what this does, if actually no, so this one, yeah, it's fine. This might actually make it fail because this function is expected to return, not to print. Doesn't matter. We don't care about that for the time being. What we care about is to see if it actually works or not. So exploit of plugin test, create archive, zip. Let's see. This is heal. Okay. Version 6. Seems to be working. Okay, it's failing to parse the config file. Why? So we need a plugin for version 6. Tags. Actually, give me the exact version of this. 664. Plugins, demo, example. Why are the plugins failing? LimeSurvey 6.6.4 plugin. Okay. Authenticated RC. Is this with the... It is. It is with the plugin. So we're just doing it manually. We're not doing it via the... whatever that is. Psycho. Let's see if we still get the... configuration parser error. You can close that one. Could not parse. Why? Okay, let's see what this one does. Oh, am I being dumb? Create archive. There we go. So we have our plugin installed. Where is it? Okay, it fails to load plugin, blah blah blah. The idea is I wanted to see how it actually loads. So now we can actually create a one that actually does something. Yeah, remove all that. Init, where is it? We can remove those two functions, plugin settings. That can stay there, but we remove that because we don't need it. Okay. Version 665. Yes, 12. So the initial problem was I was actually creating the archive from a folder, not from within the... There we go. Could not load plugin. Why? Where is my... That's 302. So this one doesn't have a class at all. And if you look at what the Python file is doing, it's basically writing config, rev shell, and the rev shell will connect automatically. Okay, so this one executes when you activate the plugin, which is different than what we have, because we have an actual class that we actually need to make work. What happens if I comment these out? Will it still fail? And also, let's change it to... Yeah, wait. because it might be case dependent on the name here. So let's leave that commented. Let's leave that in. Update the version to 666. There we go. And we have remote code execution. Nice. Let me add that to my notes. Okay. There we go. So we basically have remote code execution as data. Oh, I had to revert my machine, and now I probably don't have Penelope. Yep. Oh no, I do. 8443. Payloads. I want something. Why is it listening on? I need it on ton 0. This one. Copy selection. Let's do that in burp. And there we go. We have a reverse shell. Any questions about what we've done so far on this? So up until now, we've done a local file inclusion. We've found out Rails folder structure. We found out an app, and we found out a we found the credentials from a leaked database file through the local file inclusion. And from there, we managed to get a reverse shell via plugins for LimeSurvey. Not bad. Okay, we do have some processes running there. And we have the PHP ones as well. We are data. Can we get... What do we have in here? Where's the config file for this? So DB user admin password. Okay. Let's copy that into pass. So we have admin password. We're gonna have to look at what data is in the actual database as well. Actually, any other interesting files around here? Internal. Yeah, I don't see anything useful in here. Okay, we don't have access to any of them. What we haven't checked is if Ralph's password actually works for SSH. We've never actually tried that. Heal.htb. No, at least not that one. Let me just double check. No. How about this one? And that's a no. Okay. We keep digging. We will have to connect to PGSQL. Is it there? No. Okay. Tech U DB user tech P. Oh. How do I set the password? Oh, W. Great. That's connection failed. Okay. Documents, scripts, bserve 8080. Oh no, that won't work because I have burp running. Let's run linpiece, shall we? What's that? I don't have access because I'm data. Amazing. Maybe. Would have been too easy, wouldn't it? 10, 10, 15, 116, 80, 90. 15, not 14. I'm saying one thing and I'm typing another. Tech page, because I don't want to run everything. I need to remove tech O, and I need to remove cloud. Okay, so let's see what linpiece is giving us. We will have to go, most probably we will have to go into the Postgres database somehow and see what's in there. And we can enumerate other websites, like the main website, the API. Oh, what's that? Oh no, that's Penelope. Never mind. False alarm, that's Penelope. Actually, while that's running, I'm just gonna get another shell. Let's do this. 8444. Just so we don't sit and wait for linpiece to finish. My plugin would have probably been deactivated. Yeah. So there's a cleanup script going on the machine that deletes the plugins. Accept and install. 20. Where's my plugin ID? 20. There we go. That's still running. Where are we? So we are Nginx. Sites available. No, sites enabled. Okay, so we have Ruby running on port 301. What's heal? Okay, the other one's running on port 3000. And we already have access to that. We know where it is. I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit sleepy, but it is 12 o'clock. Opt. We're not running in a Docker, are we? No, we're not. Anything interesting here? Lots of ports. So we know these two are the web apps. What are these though? Quite a few ports there. So we're gonna have to look into the 8000 ports because we don't know what's running there. I know it's Postgres 14. Yeah, we don't need anything from LimeSurvey because we already have access to all of that. We haven't tested if this password works for Ron. Yes, it does. Okay. Okay. Um, Amazing. Does that mean we have the user flag? Let's see. Yes, we do have the user flag. Well, password reuse. I mean, yes. Fine. Fine. Okay, so of course we're not allowed to change ownership like that. Never mind. Exit, yes. Let's see, what do we have in here? Okay. Authentication failure. So we don't have access to run any of that. Documents, scripts, vserv, 8090. Running lean bees again as Ron. 15116, 8090. There's my command, so I don't have to look for it again. And that's why it's important to take notes. So user Ron might have different access than www.data. That's why I'm running lean bees again for enumeration there. We still haven't looked fully into, well, we haven't looked at all into the 8,000 ports that were there. That's also interesting. So there's some React scripts running. Those are being run by Ralph. Yeah, so I'm assuming some of these are going to be related to the node servers that Ralph is running, we're probably gonna have to do port forwarding to access them. And I'm just looking for some easy wins at the moment, see if there's anything that jumps out at me. Yeah, but bash history is not actually useful. Yeah, that's why it's not useful. It's forwarded to devnull, also known as the black hole of the Linux environment. Okay, so we could not find anything there. What ports were there? So 8300. Connection reset. 301. 302. Not allowed. 5000. Moved permanently. Like I. Okay, so there's a UI. Thank you for the follow, RawCloud. Welcome to the stream. Okay, I think I'm gonna need to do port forwarding and use that in a browser, as that's a bit too much data. Right, so that's port 5000 goes to UI. Then if we have 503 empty and 6000 empty response. Okay, I need chisel. Oh no, cycle go bin chisel server sucks, and it fails because my port 8090. Good. And I also need documents. No, downloads, I think. I should have chisel in here. Yep. 8091. Then 1015 116 8091. Chisel client 1010 15 116 8090. Oh, apparently That's not how you started with reverse socks. Reverse. There we go. So now we have a proxy client, well, a proxy server and a client connected. Let me just take some notes. So with the OSCP style stream on the 31st, you'll see just how useful the notes will be. Because of the way that I'm taking notes with command line, screenshots, descriptions of what I'm doing, it's going to be very easy after we finish all the machines to just generate the report. And that will give anyone who reads the report a step-by-step guide on how to replicate all of the findings that you have. And that's very useful on a day-to-day job as well. Because most engineers will ask you, okay, and how do I test this? How do I replicate it? And that's the best way to do it. Proxy settings. Network connections. And we should have use socks proxy. Okay, so we have socks proxy on 1080, which is correct. Let's see if we can access 7001. What was it? 5000, I want to say, on UI. Or maybe not. Let's see. Let's do this this way. Proxy chains, yeah, that's fine. 001 5000. Unable to connect. Disable burp. Yeah, it should all fall through proxy chains. There we go. So why isn't burp working? Is burp bypassing localhost by default? Probably is. Wait. And that doesn't work. Proxy. Manual proxy. 1080. Sucks. Okay. 127001 /UI. Why is my proxy not accepting browser requests? What's going on here? Am I just being dumb and not figuring something out? Might be. It's, as I said, it's past 12 o'clock. It's listening correctly because curl is working through proxy chains. Why is the browser not working? Or burp for that matter. Connections. Okay. Nope. I think it's something to do with it being on localhost. It's not being sent to the upstream setting. And I'm not sure where that's being set. Actually, let's test something else. Settings. There we go. That works. Not sure why Firefox doesn't want to do that. But apparently Chromium from Burp works. So we have console. Okay, we don't have a token to log in. Okay, we need a token, peers. Okay, console 119.2. Let's use this one. Any known exploit? Cross-site scripting. That might be useful if we can see Ralph executing that up to, so it might not be vulnerable. Right? So we have a path transversal. Let's see. We have a CV ID. Okay. Let's see. So there's only one cross-site scripting for console, which is not actually impacting the version that we're running on. What else do we have in here? Let's see. Actually, let's load that in a normal browser. Let's do that. How do you add a service? API. Anything in burp that might help? Ah. 27001. Proxy history, clear history. Of course. I forgot to. Right, now we're actually getting all the data. My idea is maybe we can add a service even if we're not authenticated, and that would allow us to execute commands. So that's why I was looking at the APIs to see how do you add a service. Actually, we need a GET request, don't we? Yeah. There we go. So we can list services. How do you add a service? There we go. Register a service. Do we need to register a new check? Console RC via service check. So you register a service, and apparently the command line, you can specify a check like that. Okay, let's copy that. Services register, change that to a post. Content type, application JSON, ID 111.111, name psycho, address port 80, that's fine. And command list needs to be an array, so we need that to be like that. Wait, in this exploit they have replace existing. Let's do this. Payloads. That might not work because we're using pipes here. Let's see, is there an example here? Actually, we could do that because we have access. So yeah, we can just do it from here. Echo that into console.sh. Thank you for the follow, Shakpala. Sorry, I hope I pronounced that correctly. And welcome to the stream. So we've created console.sh and TMP. It's owned by www.data, but if it's executed with a higher privilege, it should have access to it. Actually, 777 console. So that gives everyone access to it. So we should be good, but let's see. Which means we can, instead of doing that, we could just do bin bash, and the second argument is tmp console.sh. Not recognized. Service, not services. And I need to fix this. Replace single quotes because otherwise it's not a valid JSON. And the method is put, not post. Request the code failed. Invalid character. Where's the console documentation? Services, register. Replace existing, that's set to true. We have the name. Why don't they have an example? Ah, they do have an example. Ah, does it need to be a string? Name, address, port. We don't need metadata. Enable type of right, false, check. Interval, let's set it to 5 seconds. And let's check it that way. I'm assuming it was because of that, but let's see. No, it was not that. So we have ID, we have name, address, port, check. That's closed there. That's closed there. Ah. There we go. And we're root. It executed. And now, of course, it executes every 5 seconds. Deregister. And hopefully we don't get a million different shells. Deregister service. I know, I need the service ID, which is that one. Okay. So we are root. Root/root.txt. There we go. So we got the root flag. That was interesting.